Guys, it is the last mechanics video. Miscellaneous skills, stuff that I think is useful to know, but isn't substantial enough to have their own topics each. After this, we'll finally get into the game, breaking each part down, because I think this is all the background we will need. As usual, let's just get into it. The first thing, some of you won't even need to practice. This is just hero-specific combinations. So, Invoker, he's got a bunch of very specific combos. Lena, say you Yule Scepter someone, how do you time the stun? And those aren't really typical fives, but well, many fives, they don't have combos to practice actually. So I guess that's that. But if you needed to, for example, we could hop into demo mode here because we can actually explain a couple things here. Some useful stuff. So for example, Jakiro. He likes to Yule's people, but to get the timing for the ice path, it's not hard, but you still want to make sure you can do it because it needs to be out before they land from the Yules, but not out so long that it then disappears. So, something like that where they get stunned as soon as they land and it hasn't faded away. Very simple. Other examples would be like Shaman. We need him soon anyways. Let's do that. So Shadow Shaman, making sure that after his Hex is about to end, gets the Shackle off in time. That sounds obvious, but I mean, you want to get as much out of your Hex duration as possible before casting your Shackle, but you also don't want to give them a chance to BKB, which actually leads us into our next topic, which is chain stunning. We want to make sure that we can do this easily, and now with these status bars, it makes it quite easy to do. Now see, there was actually a pause there. It didn't look like a lot, but I did not perfectly chain stun that. So that was just 2 stuns that were consecutive, but there was actually a break in between. Now in the early game, that may not matter that much, but later, that matters a whole lot. It can be a huge difference between a big late game kill or not. So making sure you can do this is quite important. A good way to do this, we're going to use Shackles because Shackles is a nice long stun, and in fact, let's level... Whoops, I didn't mean to do that, but I guess that works. Now it's a nice 7 seconds. It's probably too long now. You do that, we click him, we press BKB. As soon as this ends, he's going to BKB. So, a good way to know if you're chain stunning is to set this up. Well, now we gotta wait for him to be done with his BKB. Set this up. Click this. We have a lot of time because it's 7 seconds because he's picked his talent. And let's make sure we get this chain stun down properly. So you'll notice he didn't BKB until after the ice path ended. That means I successfully chain stunned him in that Shadow Shaman stun ended after mine had begun. So there was that overlap. And if I hadn't done that properly, so he's going to use that. And if I was too slow, I shouldn't have leveled him all the way. Oh, I did it right again. I didn't mean to do it. Just force a habit. I got it right. Level up our stun a bit more. I think you can see where I'm going with this. Where is Hex shorter? Hex is shorter. Ah! Okay, one more time. I swear I'll get it wrong. Why did he do it? Oh, it's because he's hexed. Okay. Hex is not a good example because he can't actually use items when he's hexed, so you can't queue it up. It has to be an actual stun like Shackle. You know what they say, 5th time's the charm. There we go. So that was not a good chain stun in the fact that he was able to get his BKB off before my ice path landed. You want to make sure that if your hero has a stun that is not instant, you practice that. Because, for example, in a late game fight, if he got that BKB off, could be game changing. He could now maybe kill the both of us if he was a big core or something, instead of, being chained, stunned for, let's say this is the late game, fully maxed out, 2.5 seconds. Maybe I had that 1 second ice path talent at 25. That means that's the difference of another 3.5 seconds of stun, which could be the kill. And because I messed that up, perhaps he gets his BKB Satanic off. Full health, kills 2 of us. Big issue. Make sure you can chain stun. Next, I want to talk about the concept of body blocking. Many people know to block creeps, or they don't always do it, but they know you can, where the creeps are walking in, so you body block them to make them show up in the lane a little later. You can actually do that to heroes as well, and sometimes that can be very useful. So in this case, I have my Axe and Lich. Lich isn't really, he's not really going to be your position 1 carry, but let's pretend he is some ranged carry who wants to hit Axe. Lich is slower than Axe. So if Axe just runs away backwards, Lich will never catch up. He got off a couple auto attacks, and now Axe is gone. There is no hope to ever get back. But what if instead, let's say, this is pretty normal. The carry and the offlaner are in the lane. And let's say I sneak in through the side. Now if I come, cut Axe off, and I body block him. Oh, I let him go that time. But Lich still got off a couple auto attacks more than he would have before. When might this be useful? Anytime the carry's right clicks are more important than yours, which is frequently the case. Say you just have poor attack damage, so like maybe you're a Crystal Maiden where your auto attacks just aren't that good, and your carry is, I don't know, a Luna, a Drow who has like decent damage in their right clicks. Well, Drow's not the best example because she has a slow in her attack, but comparing it to melee heroes, perhaps Ursa. Ursa's a great example where any extra attack Ursa can land on the carry or the enemy core is fantastic because of Ursa's passive, and he has decent damage on his own anyways, so the more auto attacks he can get off, the better. And my right click, like if I could sacrifice 3 of my right clicks for him to get maybe 2 more, that's probably worth it in terms of damage. Ursa happens to be a relatively fast hero, so he may not need you to body block, but it could still be useful against another fast offlaner, for example, Legion Commander. So keeping that in mind is very important. And then the reverse is also important, where maybe your offlaner, the enemy offlaner is about to kill your carry, but they're out of spells, so they're just running at them. And you used your stun already. So you're just like, have you ever seen this situation where Axe is trying to kill Lich, and you're just running next to him? You're like, I used my spell, man. I can't help you. And you just watch him die. That happens a lot. Now, what if instead, I'm sure you can already guess where this is going. What if instead we body block? Say, no, you can't get to my carry. I will protect him. And you just get in the way so that they can never catch up. Even though they're faster heroes, you just body block them so that you can create more space and they give up. That's very useful to save his life. I see this situation pretty decently. It's not something that applies every game. It's enough that I know it is something useful that more people should do, but saying it's a big deal, this is something you'll apply like once every 10 games, maybe. That might even be too much. It may depend on what level you play at, but many times there is a value to body blocking. And I will have at least one clip here. The other replay was not working, so I'm going to cut that in right here. Here in this clip, we're going to see an example of how you can use body blocking to try to save a teammate's life. So I have no idea what this bug is. We're like all floating over the ground a bit too high, but you'll still be able to see everything. Now pay attention to Void Spirit. He's the one I'll be body blocking. Pay attention to what he does in this clip. We'll just let it play through before I really go into it. Here's me body blocking. Now Jug's gonna get away. I die. Unfortunate, but this was all 5 of them. So if just the position 5 Jakiro dies and the carry gets away, it's not so bad. Now let's watch this clip from Void Spirit's perspective. Skip forward a bit. There we go. Now you'll see he wants to get this Juggernaut kill, of course, and you'll see him trying to click past me. And at this point, he now gives up, decides, okay, we'll kill this Jakiro. Maybe we can get that Jug. No, okay. Why did this work? One more time, guys. I saw He just ulted in and used his Q. He just used every single spell. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, all of his cooldowns are now used, including most of his mobility. Now the thing is, I don't know about the status of his ultimate, because Void Spirit has 2 charges on his ultimate. But look at this. The fact... See, I even forgot I should be body blocking, and then I noticed that I could, so I started moving over. If he ulted one more time and then auto-attacked, he would definitely kill this Juggernaut. And, like, can you really think of a reason why you would not just secure this kill right here if you had your ultimate? No. So the fact that he's not doing it leads me to believe that, okay, he does not have the second charge quite yet on Void Spirit. I don't know how close it is to being up, but I do know that there is a range for it, about 700. So if we're lucky and he does not have the charge, maybe he has it and he's just not using it for whatever reason, I just want him to be out of range so that if he does try to ult to Jug, he doesn't hit Jug with it. Because I know all the other spells are on cooldown, and both of these take time to hit, and Jug... I mean, I didn't know this at the time, but I had a feeling like, okay, maybe Jug will have spin, or, you know, he's got healing ward out, he just needs a bit more time to get some health. I just need to try to make as much space as I can for him so he can, you know, heal up, maybe his sticks on cooldown, something like that. I'm just trying to buy him time. And this is why I start to body block. And at this point, I kind of know I'm dead, right? I just got hit by a slow, and I know they're, like, all here. And at this point, this is about 700 range. So at this point, I know that, okay, I've kind of successfully made it so that his ultimate will probably not hit Jug, but I'm kind of dead at this point, you know, might as well make sure we definitely save him. And now, where it's like, okay, I'm definitely dead, let's cast our spells to make sure they take a bit more damage, even though I'm dying. And Jug gets away. He turned around for a little bit here. What was he? I don't know what he's thinking. He's feeling bad that I died for him. But that's okay, because again, look at this. 5-man gank for just the position 5. So look for opportunities like this where you can use your body to stop them. Now, for example, if that had been a Storm Spirit, I may not have gone for it, because I could easily see how much mana he has if I had the presence of mind to do it at that time, I suppose. But you can see if he has mana, and if he has mana, he has his ult. So body blocking a Storm Spirit wouldn't really do that much. Now, if I know that Storm Spirit has no mana, and that he's just trying to get like 2 more auto attacks off on that Jug, then yeah, I might body block him. But because I had the information of knowing that Void had used all his spells, and that he apparently didn't have the second charge on this, that made it worthwhile for me to body block. And now that we're back, now, the other thing I want to point out, another good use of your body to block things, is in tight pathways like this. Or let's say I'm trying to run through here. Let's use Jakira first. If I just walk through here, this is all that happens. You know, I click through here and I go through. But if this pathway is blocked, and in fact we can do it with Axe here. Let's say I was chasing Axe, but Axe keeps running this way, so I run this way, and we both just run through like that. If instead Axe awkwardly stops here, so there's no way for me to get through, I will do this weird thing, where I'm like, you know, I'm trying to click through, but there's no way for me to go through, and every time I see him, once I see him, the game has the information to know I can't go through here, so I try to turn around. And once I get here, the game thinks I can make it through, so I try to go back in. So this is what's happening. So if Axe, instead of just running through, he just like awkwardly stops, like here, real quick, sees me turn around like this. As soon as I turn around like this, due to the turn rates in the game, where is he? Here he is. Because he didn't have to turn around, he doesn't waste any time like that, so he just stops, still facing the direction he wants to go, then keeps running, and maybe he even stops there again. So I finally turn around, I try to chase him, oh, and once he sees me turn around like this again, now Axe keeps going. So you can't see Axe do it, but for example, if I was Jakiro and I was doing this, I would do something like this. Stop here for a second, okay. Stop here for a second, okay, and then run through. I probably wouldn't do the second stop. Once I see it work successfully, I would just keep running from there. So if I stopped here and I saw him like turn around from pathing, I would now just bolt it. But if I tried to do that and I saw him not turn around and he just hit me instead, then I would try to do it again here and hope he misses clicks. The way to get around that is to click very close in front of your hero when you're chasing someone, so that, for example, if Axe stops there, and I didn't know he was going to stop there and I'm chasing him, now if I click like this way I will hit him when I run into him. Or you use the attack command where like I'm attacking through here, so the second I see him I will attack. But many people don't do that. Many people just spam click to move. I am guilty of this as well, and I try to be more conscientious of it so that when I'm chasing people through the trees like here, I'm trying to A-click or move close to my hero. But in many levels of play, people will just do this, where they click like that. And you can abuse that by messing up their pathing. This is more practical in terms of everyday play. Almost every game, I would say, I end up getting chased through the trees at some point. If not every game, every 2 to 3 games, you get chased through these thin points, and being able to stop, make them awkwardly path another direction, and then keep running is very useful to buy yourself. It's literally just a half second, so to many people, it won't even seem like that much. And it's even less than that. It's like 0.3 seconds, really, where, oh, I accidentally turn around. Okay, turn around back that way. But that 0.3 seconds is all you need, right? Especially if you're a faster hero. I guess in that case, you would just run. So if you're a slower hero but trying to get to tower or something, many people are slow. For example, Lich is faster than me, and I just need to build a little distance. So like even this short of a distance, if I was to... What is my move command, actually? I completely forget. Oh, actually, this is fine. Look how long it would take Lich to catch up to me. He is 5 movement speed faster. So as long as I make a little bit of distance, he like never catches up to me. Even though he's a faster hero. So having that 0.3 seconds to stall someone out, like originally... Move my hero here. So like originally Lich is this close to me. That 0.3 seconds to accidentally turn around has created that much space for me. And if I do that trick again, like... It seems really minuscule, but like this game is about minuscule advantages. So there you go. Try to work that into your game, because that is all I have to say about that. Up next is clicking on hero portrait. So if you didn't know, you can actually use your spells on the hero portrait up here for your own team. So for example, I cannot target Axe with my Q through here, but if I wanted to use shield on Jakiro, I can target up here. And this is very important for some heroes that have... It's very important you land on the correct hero, essentially. So people with saves like Dazzle or Oracle, Shadow Demon's Disruption, when you really need to click the correct hero on your team, it's pretty helpful to remember that you can use this, because many times you don't need to do this, right? If I need to cast a spell on Phantom Lancer, like, this isn't that hard. I can just do that. But as you can guess, the reason I have Phantom Lancer out, actually... Phantom Lancer creates a lot of illusions, which, when all huddled together, make it very difficult to click the correct hero. So in a situation like this, I could just click up here, and I will for sure target the correct Phantom Lancer. Okay, say I wanted to Force Staff a Phantom Lancer who's surrounded by illusions while attacking an enemy hero, right? Very difficult to target the correct hero quickly in the heat of the moment. And if I were to accidentally use my Force Staff on an illusion, or I could even use it on the enemy hero by accident, that could be bad. So again, I would just target up here. I target the Phantom Lancer. And something like a Glimmer Cape probably would have been a better example than a Force Staff. So to be fair, you can't use a Force Staff or a Glimmer Cape on enemies, so maybe Force Staff was the choice. Just use these if you need to in situations like this, where you're worried about misclicking on the correct hero. The last thing I want to show are neutral creeps and their abilities. It is very good to know this in terms of jungling when you might do neutral camps, but it can also have practical applications in a game on trying to get them to cast their spell. Like, you actually want that to happen. Centaur is a big one, and I'll have a clip for that when I'm done explaining all this. Centaur will stun 2 seconds for heroes, 3 seconds for neutral creeps when 3 or more units are around him. Whether that's lane creeps or heroes, either is fine. So, for example, we start hitting him. It's going to cast stun. Ah, shoot. It's going to cast stun infinitely and kill our guy. This guy's got a passive, so, you know, he doesn't have to cast that. That's fine. Let's move on. Mud Golems, they have an active ability, but they'll never cast this. So if one of these are sitting here and then they stun you, it's because someone has control of it. No one does that, really, but that's the only way to get this to cast Hurl Boulder, is to have, say, an Enchantress take over it, have a Helm of the Dominator, something like that. Otherwise, it'll never use that spell. Knowing what each of these spells does is also pretty good to know. So, like, this actually does a surprising amount of damage in the early game, which people may not realize. Mud Golems, what else we have? Ancients, these guys. This is a big one. This will get you, where his 2 abilities will really hurt you if he hits you. And especially getting rooted in a team fight really, really sucks. This is a big one to watch out for. Next to the Centaur. The Centaur happens a lot in laning, for example, when you pull. But this can really ruin a team fight, and that has happened to me. It's not the most common thing, but it does happen. These guys, he'll just cast this. It's not that big of a deal, so I'm not going to spend time explaining it. He'll never cast Ensnare. And you know what? I'm not going to explain all of these because they're not that important. The ones I want you to know are Thunderclap, which is a good potential way to get yourself denied if, say, you're being chased by 2 heroes, maybe some creeps, run into a Hellbear camp, and hopefully he will smash, and he does a good amount of damage. So this is a good way to be denied. The stun from a Centaur is a great way to buy time for your team or to stop a chase. Potentially cancel a stun. That's a big thing. If you see someone teleporting here and you don't have a stun, but you are surrounded by... Well, here's a bad example. Okay, here's a better example. Where, say you saw someone start teleporting out right here, but they were being attacked by some creeps. You could potentially aggro the Centaur camp, pull him into here, and you might stun it. This is a very, like, high-level play. Very rare opportunity to use it, but that is exactly what this video is on. These miscellaneous skills that could win you something pretty big if you happen to use it, but it's going to be like once every now and then. But for those of you who are really aiming to get to a high level, this is the kind of thing I would spend time to read the Dota wiki, make sure you understand all of their abilities, how they work. This will never get cast in game. The Centaur Stomp and the Hellbear Smash are pretty much the 2 most important I want you to know, along with the Ancient Prowler down here. This guy's ability, those are the biggest offenders, the ones that can get you killed the most or get you kills. And I'll stop there. I'll put my clip in here. Yeah. In this clip, I'm actually a position 4 sniper, but examples of this stuff do not happen very often in-game, so you just got to take what you can get. So here we're going to see me make use of a neutral ability in a team fight. Let's just watch what happens for a bit. I'm being chased by these 2 at a Roche fight.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
I was really happy with this play. I thought for sure I was dead. Honestly, the results were better than I expected it to be. And we don't have to watch any of this. It's me helping to win that fight. All I was really hoping for here was to buy time, because this Ember Spirit has been killing me every single team fight. He has just ran at me, made my life miserable, as he should, to be fair. It's kind of his job. And these guys, you know, I've got a... he's dead right now, but he has the Aegis and a Bristleback. And I feel like, you know, if the 2 cores are chasing me, then these guys should be able to kill them. So I just want to buy time, because our team is already looking bad here. We've already lost a couple, and, you know, if they kill me right now and then just go here, then it's like a 4-on-2, and that's pretty bad. So I wanted to run here, and I knew that Centaurs will stomp when there are 3 or more. And, you know, if that doesn't happen, maybe I can get denied. Admittedly, these guys do not do a lot of damage, but in the off chance that I can get denied by a neutral creep, that would be great. So I came over here, didn't even need to aggro them. I thought I would because it was nighttime, but his stuff made that easy. And then, here we go. We get a stomp that miraculously did not catch me. Honestly, I expected it to just you know, if I were to get the stomp off, I thought it would just hit all three of us and then I would die after that. And I was just hoping they'd be stunned for a bit because the Centaur Stomp does do 2 seconds, which is quite nice to heroes. And so that was all I really expected. Me getting away was just, you know, a nice bonus. And then they wasted time chasing me a bit, which really worked out for us. I'm able to do something. That kind of stuff is very uncommon to happen in terms of a team fight. Like, how often does a team fight break out over... Sorry, it was really loud there. How often does a team fight break out over a neutral camp? You know, like fighting here or like fighting here. It's not very common. This area during Roche fights does get used a bit, you know, but who knows how stuff will play out. In this case, this was very fortunate for me. I wouldn't expect most examples of that to work out so well, but there you go. That is going to be it for me on this video. Thank you for watching the whole time, and if you watched all the others, thank you as well. This should set you up with most of the knowledge you need to have a very strong fundamental base in this game, as well as some additional, more advanced knowledge that is not so practical all the time, such as these stomping and clapping of the neutrals. But they're good to know. And yeah, thanks for watching. Come back next time, and we're going to finally start breaking down the game, which I'm pretty excited about, because this stuff is like not so fun to practice. Let's be real. Who likes practicing? We like playing, and that's what we're finally going to get to. Thank you.